Mexico's Supreme Court on Monday struck down a part of the country's health law that allowed medical personnel to refuse to carry out abortions on the grounds of consensuous objection.
Here's a summary of the article.
Mexico's Supreme Court on Monday struck down a part of the country's health law that allowed medical personnel to refuse to carry out abortions on the grounds of consensuous objection. The ruling is the latest in a series by the top court removing legal hurdles to abortion in the conservative Latin American country. The court ruled that the law did not establish the guidelines and limits necessary for doctors and nurses to exercise consensuous objection without jeopardizing patients' rights. The article was a blank check to deny health services, particularly in the case of abortion, in violation of other human rights that the Constitution recognizes, said Court President Arturo Zaldivar. At the same time, the court recognized medical personnel's right to consensuous objection and scheduled another session on Tuesday to define guidelines for exercising it. In earlier September, the Supreme Court ruled that women should not be punished for abortion, opening the way for them to access the procedure across the country without fear of being prosecuted. The Supreme Court also declared as unconstitutional a state law defining life as beginning at conception and equating abortion with murder.
This post received a score of 2,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Real question. How many people out there object to abortions but have still learned how to do one and are employed somewhere they'd be expected to perform one?
Doctors at hospitals can perform abortions, but they are not expected to do it for on-demand abortions.
Good on Mexican Supreme Court. The ruling was decided by unanimous vote as well. Texas needs to learn from their southern neighbor.
Texas needs to be given back to Mexico. Maybe they can turn it into something useful.
I'd say returned rather than given back, as it was illegally obtained, being judged by the laws of the USA at the time it happened. Cue the down votes by Texans ignorant of their own history.
I was about to argue that returned and given back were the same thing, but then I realized that given back insinuates something was given away to begin with, which, as you pointed out, is not the case. So yeah, returned is the correct term.
Really jockeying for that medical tourism money, ain't they?
Would you really want an abortion performed by a person who thought it was morally wrong, but being forced to by law? It seems less than ideal.
Why on earth would you force people to do that?
Our conservative, Catholic, neighbor to the south gets it. Why can't our geriatric, gerrymandered gentry with delusions of relevance figure it the fuck out too?
Mexico is extremely religious and conservative, that's true. But it's also a very secular country, which fought a civil war to separate church and state, the Reform War. Because of this, it's generally understood here that personal beliefs are just that, personal, and should have no bearing on government policy.
Sounds marvelous.
Is it normal for someone with a conscientious objection to abortion to perform abortions, or is this just some weird right-wing grandstanding?
Good for Mexico. Nobody should be allowed to decide to not do their job because of their religion. If your self-imposed rules forbid you from doing your job right, then get a different job. Edit, whoever reported me to the Reddit crisis hotline, that was hilarious.
Of course, I don't object allowing willing doctors to perform the operations. If you are a doctor that doesn't perform the operation, then don't perform the operation. Many doctors refuse to perform certain types of surgeries because they are uncomfortable. I just don't understand how having an operation performed on you by a specific doctor somehow became a right.
Good on their Supreme Court.
I really wouldn't want my doctor to be forced to give me an abortion if he was trying to refuse. I'll go elsewhere or wait for another.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.